Yeah. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lillian, and today we'll be presenting about the project that I did together with my team this summer. And I think for this summer, one thing that we can all agree is that it was very hot. It was extremely hot, just like it was last year and the year before that, and every year it's just getting hotter. It's getting so hot that we're desensitized to the fact that climate change is here, it's happening, and that we need to do something about it. And this summer, we are really fortunate to be working with two partners whose aims are to combat climate change. Specifically, we were working with the West Midlands Combined Authority, a collection of local councils in the West Midlands whose goal is to achieve 100% carbon neutrality by 2041, and Pure Leapfrog, a business led charity whose goal is to combat climate change in a socially inclusive way. So they came to DSSG with a proposal. Their aim was to increase the energy efficiency and reduce the amount of non renewable energy used by houses in the West Midlands and hopefully for the rest of the UK. And maybe you're wondering, why are we focusing on houses? Why not any other sector? Well, according to the National Housing Federation, all the total houses in the UK produce more carbon emissions than the total number of cars. This means that we can effectively cut down carbon emissions if we also focus our energy on cutting down carbon emissions from houses itself. Maybe you're wondering, as a homeowner or as somebody who can do something about my house, what can I do? You might have seen something like this if you've recently bought or rented your house. This is called an energy performance certificate. I've seen this in my dorm room. It's stuck on the wall somewhere. And what this basically means is that an A grade represents a high energy efficient home. G grade represents a home which is low in energy efficiency. It doesn't just tell you how energy efficient your home is, it also gives you specific recommendations for what you can do to your homes to make it more energy efficient. For example, you could double glaze your windows to prevent heat from escaping during the winter. Install solar panels so that you use not renewable energy resources. You could insulate your loft, you could decommission your chimney. There's a host of things that you could do, and this just scratches the surface. And if we already knew all of this information, we'd be able to come up with a strategy for how exactly we can help retrofit all the homes to make them energy efficient. But is that out of the 1.2 million homes in the West Midlands, we only have data for 40% of them. This means that local councils and even homeowners are at a loss on what to do for where the homes are, which have low energy efficiency. Oops. What sorts of interventions should be applied? What kinds of retrofitting strategies are best suited to each home? What are the costs? What are the budgets that local authorities should set aside? What are the costs that homeowners should expect to pay? What are the implications? If all of the houses were to switch from non-electric to electric heating, would the power grid be able to take this shift? If we suddenly installed solar panels on a ton of houses, would we have the labor required for it? And this is not to mention other implications that we haven't even thought about. And this is exactly the problem that we're trying to help the West Midlands solve. We've taken data from a host of licensed and open source platforms and tried to put it together to form three key actionable insights. First, predicted the EPC ratings for the remaining 60% of homes in the West Midlands using a random forest and similarity quantification model. Secondly, we estimated the solar panel output for all of these houses. Basically, if you wanted to know how much solar panel output your house can give out, you need to know what is the slope of your roof, what direction does that face towards the sun, what kind of shading is on that roof that will impact the kind of solar energy that would get onto it. And we've used remote sensing data to be able to figure out all of these figures. Lastly, we figured out a prediction for what heating types do houses use. Are they using electric? Are they using non-electric? And if we were to switch them to electric, what kind of additional load would that pose on the energy grid? Then we put all of these insights into a place where you can kind of see all of it. 3D model of the city. We've given you a 5 kilometers square kind of like sample in Wolverhampton, where the darker green spots represent areas with high energy efficiency and the darker red spots represent areas with low energy efficiency. So if I was a local council and I said, okay, maybe I want to target this area circled in blue, and I wanted to install electric heating in this area, what would the impact be? They could overlay this graph with a different graph that shows the additional peak load, be able to aggregate this data to see what the additional load would be on the substation, and say, okay, maybe this is a good plan, maybe this is not. And imagine being able to do this with all sorts of different insights that we've pulled together. As you can see, there's huge potential for long-term impact with the work that we have done. One of them being helping local councils and other climate-focused organizations to identify areas where retrofitting can be applied. Secondly, being able to account for other key considerations, not just what kind of retrofitting strategies, but also the other things that are important to making this decision equitable. This project is scalable to all other UK city councils and climate-focused organizations because we use licensed and public data, which is available for all of them. And our code, like all of the projects, is open source. I could not have done this without the help of Meghna, Mike, and Shreya, and our project manager Satyam, our technical mentor Mihir, and also the support of all the other organizations within DSSG. We hope that through this project, we'll be able to combat climate change together. And if you have any questions, please talk to us during our poster session later. Thank you.